I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but six figures, okay, $100,000 a year is the new middle class. There's an old saying that goes something like, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, but for the sake of 2024, let's say the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the wannabe rich get even more poor. Over the past few months, there's been an alarming amount of folks that were making six figures in their cushy white-collar job, just simply losing their job with the snap of a fingers overnight. Their tech jobs, their sales jobs, gone. These are jobs that they've had for 4 or 5 years and they thought were so secure, but how are these people that were making multiple six figures even ending up in a situation where they're looking for new houses, they don't know where they're gonna live, they don't have any money saved up, their retirement's blown? What is going on? And on the flip side of the token, how is it that people that are just a couple of steps, a couple of levels above them, shopping for their second and third homes in the Hamptons and in Hawaii? Today we're gonna pull back the curtains on America's wealthy, show you how they spend their money, what they're spending their money on, how they save their money, everything business and money related, and show you how they are making themselves immune to America's current looming recession. Step 1, we need to redefine the six-figure job narrative. Growing up when I was a kid, my mom worked at Costco. She made $40,000, $50,000 a year. My dad worked at the prison. I'm still not sure exactly how much he was making a year. I'm guessing probably close to $100,000 a year. And we were a middle-class family, right? It's just a typical middle-class family. We weren't rich, we weren't poor. We just had enough, we got by, we were able to do 1 to 2 vacations a year, we played some travel sports, and that was the norm that I grew up in. And I feel like that's a lot of you guys that are watching this video as well. You can relate to that background. And when you ask your parents or your grandparents about buying a house, they bought their house for $70,000 in 1999. Your grandparents bought their house for $40,000 in 1960. Now, you're looking to buy a house and you're like, holy shit, it looks like I might have to rent forever, even though I'm making $100,000 a year, $80,000 a year, $120,000 a year. What's going on? Well, what's happening is inflation is getting worse every single year, and we just expedited the inflation process exponentially when we started printing money out of thin air during the COVID crisis. The Federal Reserve began literally printing money, cue the money printer going brrr, and now you can barely fill up your car of gas and get groceries and pay your rent and have any money left over with a $100,000 a year job to go do anything. You can't set aside money for investing. It's very, very difficult. If so, if anything, you just have that 401k match with your current company that you're working with. You have the government taking half of your money for taxes. And at the end of the month, if you have a wife and kids and whatever it may be, you're kind of left with a little bit of credit card debt. You might not even break even for the month. But what does that look like if you're making $5,500 a month? Well, maybe you have a $500 car payment or a $750 car payment. You're spending $1,500 a month on groceries. Your rent is $2,000 a month. Guys, right there, we're already at $4,000 for the month. Now, some of you may be able to say, hey, look, I'm able to live very frugally. I stay with my parents still. I, eat very cheap. I meal prep. All right, I can't address all of you individually, but I'm just talking about the American populace, because the fact is Americans are in more credit card debt than ever right now. There is so much credit card debt out there, and now introduce Klarna and these buy now, pay it later types of programs. The Americans are getting absolutely fucked. They are fucking themselves. And the only way to live and save a little bit of money, even if you're making that $100,000 to $120,000 a year, you gotta live with roommates, you gotta be frugal, you gotta try and minimize that bill on the weekends when you're going out and drinking with all your buddies, and it's $20 for every fucking vodka soda that you get with, at the Los Angeles bar. I mean, you literally have to be budgeting like a crazy man and living way below your means. The purpose of this video is not to stomp on anybody who's working a W-2 job. Just because I'm an entrepreneur, I've worked many years with a W-2 job, right? And I've worked in a lot of different industries. I've done the damn thing, and now I've become a self-employed entrepreneur, and I can tell you that there's pros and cons to doing both. But the biggest problem that I see with working a W-2 job, especially if you're somebody who has any desire or inkling to start a business, is that you will never become rich working a W-2 job. I don't care if you are a doctor or a lawyer. If we want to talk about getting rich, the only guys that are in that position that are getting the dumb rich, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't come in here and say, oh, well, my dad's a doctor, he makes $300,000 a year. Well, no, he's not. He makes $300,000 a year pre-tax. Your dad makes $150,000 a year, okay? So the only people that go on and make real money is the people that can take get out of the doctor's chair, get out of the lawyer's seat, get out of the courtroom, and then they go buy businesses or they start businesses like their own office, their family office. They start acquiring clinics, they start acquiring law offices, and they build a business. That makes them an entrepreneur, and I encourage you to consider becoming an entrepreneur as well. Or alternatively, they go and invest in assets that make them money, and whether that be stocks, crypto, or real estate, there are tons of assets out there that can produce income for you and help replace their current 9-to-5 salary so that when they are ready to retire and go full-time into anything else besides the job that they probably don't like, they have some income coming in that's going to give them the cushion to be able to take those risks. Part 2. Well, if my salary isn't going to make me rich, what the hell do I even do? How am I supposed to make money? Spoiler alert, most of the people that you see in this world that you're maybe jealous of, that are extremely wealthy, they did not do so from a job. They did not become wealthy from a job. They became wealthy from starting a business. Sometimes they get really lucky and they invested in some random shit coin, or they got some early Starbucks stock, or your mom was the janitor at Microsoft before they became Microsoft, and whoop-de-woo, they got extremely rich, and that's a 1 out of a billion scenario. For the most part, people have gotten wealthy either holding assets for a really long time, like real estate, buying it back in 30 years ago and selling it now, or they've built businesses. Now, you can make a little bit of money with a job. I know people that are very happy with a high-paying W-2 job. I'm not telling everybody that they need to be an entrepreneur. In fact, 90% of you probably should not become entrepreneurs. Find a good job, make your money, go home, drink your beer, kick it with your family. You can live a happy and good life. I know many people that have done this, probably more people in my life like that than there are entrepreneurs that are super happy. Believe it or not, it's the truth, and I'm exposing it, I'm telling you. But if you have the desire to start a business, if you want to start a business and you really think that you are meant for more, and that's more money, more freedom, more time, more energy, more life, then here is what you need to do. You need to get into a position of leverage. You need to find your angle, find your edge. For Warren Buffett, it was investing in the stock market over a long time and allowing his money to compound. For Grant Cardone, it was real estate, and then it was speaking on stages, and now it's scamming. For Tony Robbins, it was public speaking. He realized how strong of a public speaker he was, and being a motivational person, how many people needed to hear motivation and how many people wanted his energy and what he can bring to the table. And he invested all of his time and energy and money into that one thing. And then as you get older and you start making a lot of money, that's when you start to diversify, right? Diversifying early is where a lot of people get confused. They see me, somebody like myself, who has 7-8 different businesses. Guys, 7-8 different businesses have only came about because I had one business that was making me a shitload of money, okay? My original stock and trading business did really, really well. I made a lot of money there, and then I started putting into real estate. Now I have 2 businesses. And then from the real estate business, I went all into Airbnb. Now the Airbnb crushes it and makes multiple millions of dollars a year. Now I have a coaching business because people want to learn from me about Airbnb. Boom, now we have a coaching business. So the diversification of assets and businesses comes later, but find one thing where you have the edge. Find your leverage and go all in on that. Now, what happens with the middle class is inflation hurts them. Okay, and the reason why inflation hurts them is their salary doesn't adjust with the increase in inflation. So you're still making the same amount of money, or maybe you made a 5% bump increase, but the price of eggs has gone up 50%. The price of gas has gone up 50%. So your dollar is worth less. You have less buying power with the dollars that you're making. Whereas the opposite is true with business owners and entrepreneurs in many cases. Inflation actually helps them because more money that is being pumped into the market allows them to create new offers, new programs, new softwares, new businesses, and they are able to take advantage of this huge influx of this fake money that we've printed, and all the money ends up going back to them. Here's a great point that I want to make to you, and somebody told me this a long time ago. They said if we gave everybody on earth right now $1 million cash, and we came back 1 year later and checked to see who has more money and who has less money, the people that were already rich beforehand would be even wealthier, and the people that were broke and didn't know how to manage money would be broke. That is 100% true. I believe that to be even 1,000% true. Think about this for a second. If I gave you $1 million, or if I gave you $10,000 and you don't know what to do with it, you don't know where to invest it, you have no money IQ, you have no ideas of where to park money, you don't think about investing into assets, and you just go blow it. You go to the strip club, you go buy bottle service, you go get that new Lamborghini. You will be broke in a year. I promise you, and I've seen it happen 1,000 times over and over with people that were coming up with me in the education space. I see them buy all the cars, the watches, the Lambos, and now what are they trying to do? Calling me, hey Blake, stuff's not working out for me. I don't really know what to do right now. Did you pay taxes? Fuck, I didn't really pay taxes. I kind of wasn't really thinking about it. Now I had to defer. Now I owe back taxes. Guys, this is the sad reality. I'm not here to make fun of anybody. I'm exposing what the fuck is actually happening and how many people don't know what they're doing with their money. What's even crazier is the wealthy get wealthier with these assets because they don't even pay taxes. I will pay less taxes this year on many millions of dollars than a California school teacher. Don't believe me? Have no problem showing tax returns in 2024. And why am I able to do that? Because I'm taking advantage legally of the tax system of the IRS code that says if I am a full-time real estate investor, I'm able to deduct this money from my taxable income when I buy these properties after performing a cost segregation study, right? A cost seg analysis. So every time I'm buying properties and getting new cash flow and passive income and somebody's paying down my equity and somebody's paying down my mortgage, on top of that, I'm getting this massive tax deduction. So sure, do I go broke multiple times a year buying real estate? Absolutely. But do I have to pay much taxes at the end of the year? Very, very little. So don't hate the player. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. Join the game. These rules are here for you to take advantage of, and it's not illegal. This is stuff that is literally in the fucking tax code. You can take advantage of it too. You just have to make the decision to one day say, hey, look, I'm tired of this W-2 job. I'm tired of sucking my boss's dick. I'm tired of going to all these stupid corporate meetings that don't make any sense for me to be showing up to. I'm wasting my time. I'm tired of the after hours, the after parties, the this and the that, the corporate retreats. Fuck that. Go all in on yourself. Go all in on your business. So what are your options? Well, I'm gonna make some bold statements here. Your 401k is a fucking scam, okay? I know enough people now that have decided to take the risk pulling out their $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 that they have in their 401k or whatever retirement account that they have. They quit their job and they use that money as an investment in themselves, in their education, in starting a business. They take the risk. It's scary. Okay, it's even scarier when you're in your 40s and you have kids and a wife and people that depend on you. But if you're young and you've been making money and you have some money saved up different places, but you don't want to touch it till you're 65, guys, I promise you it's a scam. In fact, it may not even be there by the time that you are 65. You might not even be here by the time you're 65. This is the time to take a risk, to take a calculated risk, okay? Calculated risks are different than other risks. A calculated risk may mean that you have an edge. You've been learning about Airbnb, for example, my business that I teach. And you say, hey, look, I found this area that I like. I know it really well. I think I can scale a team. I like this property. I'm getting it for a good price. My interest rate kind of sucks. But if this property makes me $4,000 a month in profit and I'm making, hey, $8,000 a month in profit at my current job, well, all I need to do is get 2 of these properties to replace my old income and I can go all in on this business that allows me to travel all around the world and run a business from my fucking phone. Wouldn't that be a much better lifestyle? If that's something you're interested in, like that's a better lifestyle. So step number 1 is going to be finding a business model or something that you're interested in that you can study, do the research, and start putting a little bit of money into. In fact, I encourage you to not even just quit your job at first, but do a quiet quit, okay? Like a quiet quit. Kind of just start half-assing it at work. Don't go in all the time. Take your fucking 3 weeks of vacation, whatever it is, and start building this business on the side. Take advantage of this corporate BS ladder, these overbloated companies that are just paying out money to you for whatever reason. Start building your business. Start building your side hustle and start making a little bit of money. Figure out something that you actually want to do. And when you find what you want to do, go all in on it. Now, when you start making a little bit of money, let's say that you get to that mark where you're making $10,000 to $20,000 a month. This is where people fuck up, okay? I will tell you from experience, when I started I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. I was still living at my parents' house. I had friends that knew how much money I was making. I had a Rolls Royce, which was for a tax write-off purposes. I owned 20 properties, 20 investment properties, and I still lived at my mom's house. Now you're probably telling yourself, Blake, why the fuck were you doing that? When you could have had your own house, you could have been paying rent, you could have whatever. I liked living at home a little bit because shit, my mom was cooking food. I had zero expenses. My mom was like, yeah, you can stay here. It's like not a big deal. This house isn't huge, but you can have your own room and whatever. So I'm getting food, board. My parents are hella cool. It allows me to help scale my business faster and I wasn't spending a lot of money. Unless it was for tax purposes or buying properties, I wasn't spending any money. I continued to invest in myself and into my businesses. Every dollar went back into them. And you know what happened? I got to a point now where I can literally retire. Every single month, my real estate business net profit makes $110,000 a month. If you can't figure out how to live off of $110,000 a month, I don't know how you can live. For me, I could live like that forever. I could have a cool little beach house, get a chef, raise a family, send them to private school. I can fucking live forever off of this real estate. But I took the sacrifice early. I lived below my means for the first 3 to 4 years that I was building these businesses, and now I can reap the rewards and benefits. If you decide to start changing your lifestyle to adjust, to keep up with the Joneses because you think that you need that 5 Series BMW and the fucking Corvette, and you need that new date just that nobody gives a fuck about, look, I'm just being honest with you. This is how most people start living when they start making money. Keep your money, save your money, find assets to invest in, park it in real estate, park it in crypto, park it in stocks. Think about the long-term picture. Nobody else thinks about that. If you think about your new life as an entrepreneur and as a business owner and as a creator, whatever it may be, as an athlete that has a big contract, and you treat it like this. You treat it like you're gonna blow your ACL out your first year playing. You got that $10 million, you got that signing bonus, but man, you just blew your ACL. You're never gonna be able to play basketball again. You're not making any more money. If you go out and buy the chains and the jewelry and the cars and the bottle service and the dumbass watches, you are going to live in regret for the rest of your life that if you would have just simply invested that money and thought 10 years down the line instead of 10 minutes down the line, you would have been able to be wealthy for the rest of your life based on the basic principles of compounding. Don't overthink trading stocks. You think that you start making a little bit of money, you want to trade some stocks? Fuck that. Throw your money in a low index S&P fund. Find some, VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 index funds, VOO, VGT, VTI. That's where my money's at. I have two or three tech stocks, 2 or 3 index funds. I park my money in there. I allocate a little bit of my portfolio or my income every single month to these index funds and to a couple of different stocks, and that's it. The majority of my money goes into real estate. I get my tax benefits. I throw some money into crypto as well. A lot of my liquid net worth is in Bitcoin right now, and that's it. Maybe it costs me $30,000, $40,000 a month to live my life right now because I have employees, I have food, I have travel, I have these businesses. Like, there's a lot of moving parts. It's expensive, but that's way less than 5% of the money that I'm making every single month. So I'm still living below my means. Try not to spend more than 10% of the money that you make every single month in expenses, and that means across the board. If you're spending more than 10% at any level, you're doing it wrong. And lastly, don't listen to anybody who hasn't been in your shoes and has never made the money that you've made. I've made the mistake before, and I've actually, one of the stories that I feel really regretful to say, but it's true. When I started making a little bit of money, only people I really had to talk to before I had a network of people that were making money was my parents. Okay. My dad and mom are trying to give me advice on what they would do with this money. And one day I blow up at them. I go, you've never made this money. You've never made any money in your life. I was so upset. And again, I feel regretful about this. You've never made any money in your life. Well, how are you going to tell me what to do with my money? It broke our relationship a little bit for a second because it was so... my parents did everything that they could. They didn't, they worked at the prison. They worked at Costco. My mom worked at 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m. every single night for 35 years. Okay. That was the most embarrassing thing that I've ever said to them. But I still, and we were able to mend the relationship, and we have a great relationship now. But I was really young, immature, and making money and didn't know what the fuck was going on. And so I kind of blew up. But at some level, I will say the principle of what I was trying to get to was I'm scared to listen to people that have never been in this position before give me advice on what they would do. I'd much rather go find somebody who's actually done it, who's actually preserved wealth, and who's actually scaled their businesses and wealth, give me advice on what to actually do from their personal experience. So take that with a grain of salt. I rarely look at my bank account. I never watch the news. I'm solely focused on growing my businesses, staying in the gym and staying healthy so I can be mentally sharp and continue to double down on building out and scaling my businesses. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I'm not gonna tell you that Airbnb investing is your only way to escape the rat race. That's just simply how I did it. You could do it with e-commerce. You could do it by building an agency. You could do it by copywriting. You can do it by landscaping. You can fucking do it, okay? Listen to me when I say this. You can do it. You're capable of it. You're strong. You're smart. You have what it takes to fucking build something that people want to use, to have, or a service that they need. You don't need a ton of startup capital. You don't need a ton of experience. You simply need to be in the arena. You can't be chirping from the sidelines telling me, hey, I thought the Airbnb was blowing up and it was imploding. When I'm in the fucking Airbnb business, when I'm buying properties, I probably spent $11 million this year on buying Airbnbs, and I'm making the money in Airbnb. So if you want to chirp, if you want to have an opinion, if you want to have anything to say to me or to anybody else that's actually in the arena, then you need to step foot in the arena yourselves and find out what it's really like to be a business owner and to be an entrepreneur. It's not easy. It's difficult. There's tears that are shed. There's relationships that are broken. There's relationships that are built. It's fun. It's overwhelming. At the end of the day, where things are trending for the next 20 to 30 years, the middle class is going to become the lower class. Unfortunately, just with inflation and where we're at, your only way to escape this rat race is to build a business. I hope that you found this video interesting. I hope that you're able to take what I'm saying and apply it to your life. If it's had any impact on you, please let me know in the comments. Leave a like on this video. I'm going to continue to lead you guys down the path of finding financial freedom because it absolutely changed my life, and I hope that it can change yours as well. I'm Mr. FourToEight, and I'll see you in the next video.